guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to go ahead and talk about the books that I read over the springtime. So we'll be doing my springtime wrap up and then we'll be going into my summer TBR. But to be honest, like right now I am in the biggest reading slump I have ever been in, and I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know where my motivation has gone, and then with everything that has just been going on in the world, I have no motivation. And this is not normal for me because usually periodically I will get into these random moods where I won't want to even look at a book, but it'll only last for maybe a day or two. But I've been going on for a solid week where I will pick up a book and can only do maybe a chapter or two, and then I can't focus. I just, for whatever reason, I can't push myself, and I don't know what it is. I can't get myself out of it. I have tried to pick up smaller novellas. I've been trying to just stick to audio. I can't even make myself listen to audiobooks. I don't know what it is, and I'm hoping this coming up week that I can kind of shake this. But I'm also trying to not force myself to read, because I find that when I'm forcing myself to read during times where I'm in these really bad reading slumps, that I tend to rate books lower than I would probably normally do it, because I'm just not in the mood and I'm just not enjoying it. So I'm I tend to be I'm not feeling it, even when it could be a really good book and I'm just not in the mood. So I'm just trying to just kind of ride this wave out and see what happens. But because of this funk, it's just taking me a lot longer to read. And because of that, these books, it's taking me a lot longer to get through these. And the books that I had on my TBRs, I'm not getting through them. And as you guys have seen, I'm not somebody that sets up these TBRs. So these TBRs have been very specific this year. And if you haven't been following these TBRs that I've been doing specifically this year, just to give you a breakdown, I've been trying to knock out a lot of these older series that I've just been having on my shelves. So a lot of these series that I've been trying to get through are just really old series that have been published for a while. So I've just been trying to force myself to read them. So I've been making these seasonal TBRs. I've been able so far this year to complete a few of these series, but for the springtime, I didn't read as much as I wanted to. And so far for the summer TBR, I am not off to a great start. So we will go ahead and start with my spring wrap up. So starting with my spring wrap up, these first two books, I actually did a complete series review. So I'm not gonna talk about these two books for a long time, because I will link that video down in my description bar. But that is going to be the last two books in the Ember and the Ashes quartet by Saba Tahir. So we have A Reaper at the Gates and then The Sky Beyond the Storm. I ended up really enjoying these last two books in the series. I did listen to these on audiobook. I believe I gave this one a 3 stars and then this one a 4 stars, I think. But overall, I really did enjoy this series. I wasn't too sure how I was gonna feel about the series as a whole, but I was pleasantly surprised that I did enjoy the series as a whole. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about the series because I did a whole series review. Like I said, again, I will have that video linked down below if you want to check out my full thoughts on this. So then I was continuing on with the Throne of Glass series, and so I picked up the Assassin's Blade, which is the short story collection, and I pretty sure I read this out of order. So I had read Air of Fire and then this, but I think you're supposed to read Crown of Midnight and then this, or read this first before you start the series. But either way, I don't think it really made too much of a difference. But I did read this one. This was the first thing that I have read in this series that I gave a 4 stars. Everything else I have rated a 3 stars. I mean, so far, I think the series is fine. It's not one of those things that's like blowing me out of the water. I'm not necessarily singing like it's high praises, but I really did enjoy this. I think there was only one story in here that I didn't necessarily enjoy all that well. I think it was the Assassin and the Healer. I thought that one was kind of boring a little bit, but all of the other ones I really enjoyed it. I loved getting the backstory between Selena and Sam, so I enjoyed this one. I am now on Queen of Shadows, and I'm in the middle of this one. I am literally like dead smack in the middle of this one. I was supposed to have finished this one as a part of my spring wrap-up. It has taken me 2 weeks and I'm still reading this one. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. I am rather enjoying this one. So far, even though I'm still in the middle of this one, I would have to say this is probably my favorite book that I have read out of the series as of yet. And due to my reading slump, it is just taking me forever to get through this. And it is causing me so much pain, but eventually I will get through this. And this is actually has fallen onto my summer TBR, but I'm getting through this one. Things are happening. I'm liking where this story is going. I'm not mad at it. I am very intrigued to see how this story is going to progress. So I am slowly but surely making my way through the Throne of Glass series. So next up, I was supposed to complete the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson as a part of my spring wrap-up. That did not happen. I only got to the first book, which is The Kiss of Deception. So in this first book, we are following this princess by the name of Laya. And at the very beginning of the story, she is supposed to be getting married to this prince who she knows nothing about, and she does not want to marry this guy. And on the day of her wedding, she and her friend that also works at the palace decide to run away. And so they run away to this other like town, and when they get to the town, she ends up working at like this bar as like a barmaid. And so these two guys end up getting sent to essentially look for her. One of the guys is actually the prince, and one of the guys is the assassin. She doesn't know that they are there looking for her, and we don't know as the reader which one is which I thought was very creative. And I kind of knew that this was what was going to happen based off of other people's reviews. So I know this was like a thing going into the story. So throughout this story, both of these guys, the assassin and the prince, are trying to learn things about her. We have the assassin trying to figure out whether or not he's actually going to kill her. And then we have the prince basically just trying to learn some things about her. He's not trying to harm her. He's just trying to learn things about her because he also didn't necessarily want to marry her either. He wanted to run away from the marriage as well, but he didn't have the guts to do it. She just kind of beat him to it. And so that is what's going on. But there's also, in like the background of the story, there is like some conflict between the two kingdoms. So between her kingdom and then the prince's kingdom. And then we also know that Laya was supposed to have, at a certain point in time, she was supposed to inherit like this gift, this like power that she was supposed to get that she hasn't come into yet. But the assassin thinks, I believe, if I remember correctly, people think that she already has this gift, but she knows that she doesn't have it, but other people think that she has it. I like this story well enough to want to continue. I ended up giving this story a 3 stars. I liked the reveal of trying to figure out, you know, between the 2 guys, which one was the actual assassin and which one was the prince. I thought that was well done by the author, because I thought I had it figured out and didn't have it figured out, but I also didn't really try that hard to figure it out. I just kind of went with it. I liked how the story ended going into the next book, so I really can't wait to pick up the next one whenever my reading slump is over and I'm, you know, ready to do so. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes. My only problem with this book was I wish we would have gotten more like explanation as far as like exactly what her like gift or like what the magic was supposed to be, because like I just didn't really understand it, or to me it just wasn't like really explained well. I thought that there was a lot going on towards the end, but I just wasn't really grasping what that was. So maybe it'll be explained better as the series goes on. But other than that, I really thought that this was a fun time, and this was like one of those books that like kept my attention the entire way. So I'm really intrigued to, you know, see what's gonna happen in the next few books. So that was actually all that I was able to read during the springtime, and that was not everything that I told myself that I was going to read during the springtime. So we will move on to my summer TBR. So speaking of the Remnant Chronicles, since I read the first book in the trilogy, I am going to continue on with this, and hopefully I can just go ahead and knock this one out. So then the next book in the series is going to be The Heart of Betrayal, and then the final one is going to be The Beauty of Darkness. Like I said, hopefully I can just go ahead and knock it out. We will see what happens. And then I also wanted to go ahead and continue on with the Throne of Glass series. I was actually hoping to be done with this one and not have to move it on to my summer TBR. But, you know, here we are, still reading this one. So we will be continuing on with The Queen of Shadows. And then I will be reading on to The Empire of Storms. Depending on how the summertime goes and how fast I will be moving through these books, I might move on to the Tower of Dawn. If not, I'm not even going to try. I didn't even pencil it in as something that I'm going to read. But if I can get to the Tower of Dawn, I will. If not, I'm just going to keep it to Queen of Shadows and Empire of Storms and leave it there and not put too much pressure on myself. But we'll see what happens. Now, these next 4 books, I don't know, I said 4, but these next 4 books, I actually had it on my summer TBR. I was hoping to at least get to like 1, maybe 2 of these books, but I didn't make it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that I can at least get to like a couple of these. They're not too long. This is still a series that I really want to like touch at some point this year, and that is the Remnant Chronicles by Michael J. Sullivan. So the first book is The Crown Tower. Then we have The Rose and the Thorn. Then we have The Death of Dulgath. And then the last one we have is The Disappearance of Winter's Daughter. Again, these really aren't that long. And the only other series that I've read of Michael J. Sullivan's, which is one of my all-time favorite fantasy series, is the Remnant Revelations. And I thought that series read really fast, so I'm going to assume that these will read really fast as well. That's why I just went ahead and put like all 4 of these books on my summer TBR. I really think that I will be able to read these quickly if I can get to them. Again, that is if I can just make it through this reading slump, which I'm pretty sure that I should be able to do that. I think. I hope. I'm hoping I can shake this. But we shall see. And then just because, you know, I am just so hopeful, I put a bonus series that I'm trying to get to. But this is also a series that I'm still like on the fence, because I've almost unhauled the series a couple of times, but I think I still want to read it just because I've had it on my shelves and I've been like eyeing it, and it's just something about it that still just makes me want to see. But depending on how much I enjoy the first one will really let me know if I'm going to keep on reading it. And that's the Illuminate Files by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. And the only reason why I'm still intrigued by this is because I've said this quite a few times on my channel at this point, is that I like anything that has like the mixed media format, and that's all this book is nothing but mixed media. I'm really curious to see if this is going to be something that I like. But this is the first book, and then the next book is Gemina, and then the last one is Obsidio. I know a lot of people really enjoy the first one, and then it kind of gets iffy as like the series progresses, so we'll see. But I at least want to give the first book a try before I like write off the whole series completely. But again, this is like, if I make good headway with the rest of these books, then I'll pick this one up, but we'll see. But yes, that is all that I have. Again, if you guys are interested to know my full thoughts in regards to the Ember and the Ashes series, I will leave that video linked down in my description bar. But that is all that I have for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.